Good morning, everybody. How are you? It's Saturday morning. Welcome. Welcome to Morning Coffee with Mitch, and it's me, Mitch, of course. Of course, and let's get the first business. Let's get the first business behind us. Drink it. Drink it if you got it. And I got it. Good to see you. Good to see everybody. Look at how busy the chat was this morning. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Let me take a second here to do a little housekeeping and see if I'm live. I am live. And how about Rumble? Am I live on Rumble? Hang on one second, my friends. There we go. Am I live on Rumble? Sorry about the noise, if there was any. And let's see, Rumble. Are we there on Rumble yet? Yes, we are. Okay. Everything's working. And it says, for some reason, that it's having trouble streaming to my destination. And I don't know why it would do that, because it appears that I'm live everywhere. Okay. Okay, let me get my show notes up here. I've been running around like crazy this morning. I got an early start, but I've had some cell phone issues to deal with this morning, and I'll tell you a little bit about that if we get some time. Okay, number one, don't forget you can get your coffee cups. You can get your coffee cups, your morning coffee with Mitch, and sometimes during this stream I'll be throwing some links in there for this stuff. Also, if you like what I do and I'm helping you out and you feel like saying thank you to me, I have Buy Me a Coffee. Buy Me a Coffee, and I'll be putting that link up there as well. Also, don't forget it's Black Friday weekend and the Amazon deals are raging. If you have been wanting something that's on my list of things that I use, go to that webpage at oldguycarnivore.com. Links to stuff I use, and go right ahead and browse these things and see if there aren't any deals. There's too many deals popping up all over the place all the time for me to actually keep track of it and waste your time just letting you know all the time. So if you need something, check it out. Check it out. If you have a question for me today, put QQQ in the chat. Ellen's not going to be with us today. She's in the chat, but she's on her way to play patient dummy for the wannabe student nurse candidates, risking her life to help train medical professionals. And that's about the extent of what I wanted to say today. So good to see everybody. Got 55 people in here. Let me check the Rumble chat. Say hi to you guys first. Ellen, of course, was first in there. Mike Seeley Sr. from Melbourne was in there. No Slow is in there. Good morning, my friend. Rod Weeder, always here. Good to see you. Mike Seeley from Tampa is here. Lori's Carnivore Story. Ketra Keat, good morning. Good morning. I'll be on YouTube as I drive to my son's today, she says. And Sprack56, good morning to my carnivore family. Eat meat, get healthy. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Let me adjust my picture here. There we go. Okay. And that's that was the Rumble chat. So good morning to you guys. Good morning to you guys over there. We have in the regular chat, and today I think I'm going to do what I did yesterday. Yesterday, somehow I actually managed to get through the entire chat, got all of your questions, and it worked out just fine. I'm hoping to do this today. I have an announcement to make, and I'll make it many times. I'll make it again tomorrow morning, and that is on Monday morning, guys. On Monday morning, I have my annual urology appointment at the VA. Now, I just went through all this kidney stone nonsense, and I've had all the imaging and everything, but since I have a yearly appointment with the urologist over at the VA, I don't want to not take that. I get my prime medical care from the VA. So I'm going to, and it's at 8 o'clock in the morning. So obviously I can't do the stream at 8:30. But I'm going to set it up for 10 a.m. I should be home in plenty of time to set it up and do it at 10 a.m. So next week, instead of doing my 10 a.m. stream on Wednesday morning, I'll go ahead and I'll do it on Monday morning. And if for some reason and something happens and I don't get home, and you log into that stream and it just says waiting, I will apologize. And if it isn't too much after 10, I will come on as soon as I get home. But I should be able to do it at 10 o'clock. I hate to break my string. And this string is increasing every day of not having missed a morning with Morning Coffee with Mitch. So, that's it. Let's start with the chat saying hi to people. First one in today, Turamir. I don't think he slept last night. He was with us. He's over in Finland. He was with us last night. And he came in at, he came in last night at 9:37 p.m. Wow, that's when I first created the stream. So good to see you, Turamir. Peter's here. Peter, as usual, came in last night at 10:45 p.m. These guys, you guys have a thing about trying to be first, and it's a foot race every day. So I'm glad to see you. Wayne Herman, good morning to you, and the feral grandma's here. I will be packing the last turkey. Yes, I put away all those things. Lucy Auerbach, how you doing, Lucy? Good to see you. Can't be versed, but so glad. Yeah, thank you. And here we have Mike Seeley checked in, United Carnivore. Ellen checked in. Ellen checked in at 7 o'clock this morning. I think she has to leave at 7:30 to get going for her little nursing adventure this morning. So Ellen said hi to everybody. Wow, very prolific in the chat. Mike Seeley Sr.'s here. How you doing? Rick Charger Mokpar from Miami. And here's one I don't recognize. Bob Valagorsky. The OG, good morning. Good morning to you, Bob, and welcome. Good to see you in here this morning. Good to see you. Sandy Blythe is here. How you doing? Peter, Papa Carnivore, how you doing this morning? Good to see you. Terry Sue is here. Hi, Terry. How you doing? Lynn Gerber is here from Deerfield Beach. It is a cool morning out here, as you can see. A little overcast this morning. I woke up to upper 50s, and it'll warm up, but this was definitely a knit hat and jacket day. But it's not oppressively cold. I'm very comfortable out here. I don't think we'll see any shivering. And who else? We're still way early. Meatitudes is here. How you doing? Good to see you. And Meatitudes again. Terry Sue, Charger Mopar. Everybody's chatting away. Paul McGrogan, good morning to you, Paul. Good to see you this morning. And Marcia, Chessie's Adventures is here with us. Good morning, Marcia. How you doing? And as usual, Richard Williams from Copper Hill, Tennessee. Good to see you. Francine Monteleone. Good morning, everyone. Today is my birthday. Happy birthday, Francine. Good way to start your birthday. How old are you? 19? 20? Of course. Graceful Lily's here. How you doing, Graceful Lily? Good to see you. Patty Molden is here. Smoothie 42. Good to see you, my friend. CB, Hi, CB. How you doing? Good morning. 23 degrees in northwest Alabama. Frosty. Wow. Don't forget to, I forgot what I was going to tell you not to forget. I'm busy reading here. Sorry, guys. Steve Rogers is here. Captain America. Captain America, good to see you. Mark C's here with us. Hey, Mark. How you doing, Mark? And chatting away, chatting away, chatting away. Lizzie, good morning, Lizzie. How you doing? And Satya is here. Satya Khalsa. No, it's not. Sorry. A little tiny typo on the screen. It's Ketra again. How you doing, Ketra? Good to see you. I think I saw you over there in the Rumble chat. Lizzie's here. Hi, Lizzie. How you doing? How you doing? This is what happens to me when I've been running like crazy and managed to get this thing going about 5 minutes beforehand and didn't have time to settle down and gather my thoughts. Mama Bear. How you doing, Mama Bear? And Shirley J is here. Good to see you this morning. Sandy Blythe is with us this morning, and Glenn Ish. Hiya, Glenn. Good to see you. He says, question, you got snow? No snow here. I told the story about the one time I remember it actually snowing in Florida. Told that story a few times, but no, we don't. We're lucky. It gets cool, but I mean, for us, cool is in the 50s, and today it's started out that way. P.O. Hendrickson is here. How you doing, my friend? Good to see you. Good to see you. We have Vladimir here. Vladimir, good morning, Vladimir. Ricky Lee's with us this morning. Don't forget, I remembered what I told you not to forget. Put QQQ, put some questions in here, because if I don't get any questions today, and I don't have Ellen with questions from previous streams, then I'm probably going to just bore the hell out of you. Robbie Autry. Good morning, Robbie. How you doing? Good to see you. Joseph Stevens is here and looking for questions, guys. I'm down at the bottom of the chat already. Wow. What am I going to do? No questions. Bottom of the chat. I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to drink some coffee. It's going to be a long stream, guys, and slow start this morning. Only 58 people here. Usually we're up to 100 by now. So Saturday morning, holiday weekend. Everybody's sleeping in, I guess, or I'm boring the hell out of everybody. That's good. And I guess, and I'm using a different cell phone for my music this morning, and it has decided to stop playing. So let me start that up again. There we go. I think, if you guys don't have any questions for me yet, I will take this time. So excuse me while I light my cigar and try to warm up a little bit next to some fire here. Uh-oh. My music. Come on, guys. And I'm sorry, guys. I had to use a different cell phone for my music this morning. It's one of those mornings and I cannot get it to connect to my mixer. What the hell? There it goes. No music. Hang on. There it is. No, it isn't. It's playing from this cell phone. So I'm afraid that's what we're going to have today. Music from my cell phone. Did you ever have one of those mornings? There we go. Okay. Shut that off. All right, all right. Let's see. Here's a question. Okay. A couple of questions came in. Great, great, great. Let me finish saying hi to a few people and I'll get to that first question. Where was I in the chat? Steve Studley is here. Hi, how you doing? Good morning, Steve. Good to see you. Good to see you. Robbie Autry's with us. Welcome. And David Kane. Hey, David. How are you, David? Good to see you this morning. Ricky Lee has a question, and I'm not previewing these questions. I'm just bringing them up as they come. Mitch, have you tried the Kinder Buttery Steakhouse flavor seasoning on pork ribs? No, I haven't. I haven't. The only Kinder seasoning, and I get them at Sam's Club, the only Kinder, or Amazon has them too, but the only Kinder seasoning that I use is the blend. And I use it very rarely and pretty much only on chicken when I air fry it. If I deep fry the chicken wings or thighs, then I just use a little salt. I've seen that. What is it? I'll take a look at it next time I'm at Sam's Club. I will look and see what's in the ingredients of that thing. Buttery flavor, I don't know what in the world they put in there to make that. But I'll take a look at the ingredients list. And if you say that it's good on pork, I might give it a try. Another question here, Papa Carnivore. Mitch, what is your advice for those in the chat and community who stayed off plan over the holidays to get back on task? Oh, man. That Peter is a... are you asking that? Are you asking? I know you ate a salad. You confessed to eating a salad. That wasn't so bad. At least it wasn't chocolate bars. But yeah, I imagine a lot of people are going to go off plan. And the only thing that I can suggest that I know works for sure and you know what I'm going to say, when a craving hits, instead of eating that thing you're craving, head for the meat and just start eating meat and keep eating meat, more meat until the cravings go away. I don't care how much meat you have to eat. Eating 6,000 calories of meat at one sitting would be better for you than starting to load up on carbs. If it's really a low carb thing, Peter, like you did with the salad, that'd be, be okay because it wasn't really a craving. I remember from our conversation on the private live stream last night that you said that your girlfriend made it for you, and to be nice to her, you ate it so she wouldn't feel like she wasted her time, and that's okay. That's okay too. I don't want to give you dating or relationship advice, but I would, if it was me, I'm not telling you what to do, Peter, but if it was me, I would have had a few long talks with my girlfriend, wife, significant other, or whoever about how hard it is for me to stay on this diet, what I go through to try to fight off these cravings that I still get. And you won't get them after you've been on carnivore for a while and haven't given in to them. But every time you give in to your cravings, every single time you give in to your cravings, you are pretty much resetting all of that and negating all of that time that you spent not eating those things. And that's where you got to have that emergency meat already cooked up, ready to go. Or if you're at a meal, just grab more meat and eat until you don't want to eat anymore, and then you will not go off. And then if you can continue to do that without any deviation for a month or two, you'll find the cravings don't bother you anymore. And then you can politely say no thank you and go into all those other excuses and tactics when people are trying to shove food on you. The worst thing that we do, the worst thing that our cravings do to us subconsciously without us even realizing what's happening is they provide us with lame rationalizations. And we've all done this. And God, I look back at my life and I'm as or more guilty than all of you in saying, well, I blew it. I blew it. May as well just continue and set your time limit until the holidays are over, until the first of the year, until Monday morning. We all know those excuses. Those excuses are provided conveniently to us by that part of our subconscious that is addictive and thinks it still needs sugar or you're going to die. And it becomes a survival imperative. And that's why those cravings overwhelm and take away your decision for rational thought, whether you realize it or not. And we rationalize. That's an important word, rationalize. We rationalize things that our physiology thinks are necessary for survival, and it's totally out of our conscious control. I still contend that there is no such thing as willpower. Willpower is a construct invented by humans in their arrogance to think they actually are in charge of their body. Doesn't work that way. Took me a lifetime to learn that and finally admit it to myself. It doesn't work that way. We are at the root core of our being. We are animals and react to instincts, emotions, cravings as imperatives like any animal on the planet. And it's just our arrogance to think we're so much better than the animals. That maybe animals act like that, but we don't. We're humans. We're in charge. We're not in charge. We're not in charge. My opinion. A lot of you may disagree with me, but that's my opinion. So, Peter, my advice is recognize when you're rationalizing with yourself, if you still have enough conscious control left. Think about how lame that excuse you just made to yourself. Well, it's the holidays. There's going to be a lot of temptation. I'll get through it. Maybe I'll gain 20 pounds. But boy, right after the first of the year, I'm going to jump right back on this bandwagon, and I'll never let that happen to me again. And we all do that. And then next Thanksgiving, we start that cycle all over again and end up negating all the positive gains we made. And you're going to feel like shit too, because all that food you're eating is going to make you feel bad. So that's my answer to that, Peter. That's a great question and a challenge that faces all of us. All of us. In fact, it's such a good question, Peter, I may actually make a standalone video with this particular answer I just gave, because it's something I think that is a challenge for everybody trying to do not only this kind of diet, but any weight loss regimen or any eating regimen that's designed to improve your health, lose weight. It's the biggest challenge, and it's also the main reason why almost all, and I say almost all, and I'm talking in the almost 100%. When you look at the lifetime of dieting of all the people who start diets, it's a very rare few that actually change their lifestyle for the rest of their life. The recidivism in dieting is just as bad or worse than the recidivism for drug use and alcohol. It is an addiction. Until we recognize how addictions work and how they control us and become consciously aware of those signals as they're happening, we're helpless to do anything but go along with it. It's a great, great question. Steve Studley, another good question. Wow, you guys are on the ball this morning. Can you please talk about microbiome health? I can. My opinion about microbiome health, which is contrary to so many people in the community. But first, before I do that, I think I need another sip of my coffee. Okay. Microbiome. Well, most people, when they think of microbiome, of course, are only thinking about the microbiome in their gut, because that's really the only microbiome that gets talked about at all. And the discussions around microbiome serve an incredibly lucrative purpose for the supplement industry, like so much of the advice we get. Most advice about drugs, about medicine, about supplements come from the industry that benefits and profits from the sale of those things. But you have a lot of microbiomes in your body. You have your gut microbiome. You have a microbiome in your mouth, which does tremendous things. It's very important for preventing tooth decay, gum disease, all kinds of other things. Beneficial, symbiotic bacteria that are partners of ours, and we would not live as well as we do without them. You have a microbiome on your skin. Every square inch of your body is covered with bacteria. And I've said many times, the biggest mistake we make is in our germophobia and following the advice that you need to kill bacteria. I mean, that's how it comes out. I got to kill bacteria. Well, you don't want to kill those bacteria. You may have noticed whenever you took a course of antibiotics, which you may have needed to kill some bad bacteria in your body, that you kill the good bacteria too. And usually it takes you 3-4 weeks for your digestive system to get back on track as the microbiome in your gut repopulates itself. So, of course, they've got probiotics to sell you. Not only probiotics, but prebiotics. They've got, I'm surprised they don't have postbiotics, which you dump in the toilet after you're done. Somebody I'm surprised hasn't invented that yet. We should not be concerned or have to be concerned with the inventory of what bacteria and what strains of bacteria and the ratios of one to another. We should not have to be consciously concerned about that because we can't know. We can't know. It's not our place to regulate or try to even influence the makeup of all of our microbiomes everywhere on our body. If we're healthy, if we're eating the right food, then the appropriate and correct bacteria everywhere will prosper. They will be fed. And the inappropriate bacteria, the ones that are necessary to break down fiber, the ones that are necessary to break down excess sugar and eat sugar, they will starve. And as nature does, they will diminish in population or even go extinct in your microbiome because you don't need them. You don't need them. Now, herbivores like cows, they need strains of bacteria to break down plant matter and fiber. And without that particular appropriate microbiome for a cow, they'd be sick and they wouldn't grow and prosper. Humans, having been carnivores for so many millions of years, the correct biome for us is a biome that is very low in sugar and insoluble or non-digestible fiber. We don't need them. That's one of the prime things that's responsible when you first start carnivore and all of a sudden stop feeding all that tasty fiber and sugar to the microbiome, to the strains of bacteria in your gut. They start dying. They revolt. They eat everything in sight. They eat other bacteria. They don't go down without a fight. And we get usually real bathroom adventures for the first couple weeks. That is your microbiome automatically readjusting its makeup to the nutrition available to it. And you don't need to think about it. You don't need to worry about it. You don't need to learn the names of all this bacillus and that bacillus. You don't need to consciously intervene. It is a natural thing and it happens by itself. So, along with other things that I don't pay any attention to doing carnivore, like ketones, like microbiome, like this bathroom scale, like anything. I just keep it simple as hell. I take the few supplements that I take, the electrolytes, the vitamin D, and a couple drops of iodine, and that's it. And I take those because I'm convinced that they are deficient in the food that we eat because of our effects on farming and raping the land and taking those nutrients out of the soil, or they're not being in the water that we drink. Remember, we evolved drinking water, pond water, any water, full of minerals, full of everything. And now we have filtered water, distilled water. So much of what we need is not in there, and that's why I take the electrolyte supplements. But as far as the biome is concerned, forget about it. It's not, in my opinion, unless you have a real problem caused by something that's broken in you, something that is not working like a healthy physiological human is supposed to work. It's not something that we need to even talk about or think about, and that's hard to do when so many of these people keep coming out with advice and what you need to do and what you need to take and what you need to supplement yourself with so that you can have the ultimate control over the different populations of these symbiotic bacteria that are in your gut. That's my thoughts on microbiome, and in my opinion, it's how I do it. And I look back at my life before carnivore, and I look at my life after carnivore for 2.5 years, and I have done it the way that I do it. I have not ever once measured a ketone. I have not once ever given a thought to microbiome. I don't care what the scale says. It's irrelevant. I just feed myself the closest thing I can find to what I know is what we're supposed to eat and what we've been eating for millions of years, and let my body chemistry, my physiology, my genetic programming, let it control everything. And it does that not only second by second, but microsecond by microsecond. There are some things in our bodies that happen thousands of times a second. Levels of things are read. Chemistry is adjusted accordingly in every one of the trillions of cells in our body. We cannot get on top of that. The most powerful computer in the world still isn't as powerful as the human brain when it comes to regulating these things, and the cellular memory that doesn't even need the brain to regulate what's going on in its cell. So that's my answer to that question. It's a great question. Another great question, Steve. It comes up all the time, whether you take my advice or not, or you listen to some other YouTuber who's telling you how important the microbiome is and why you need this strain of bacteria because this strain of bacteria eats this and poops out that, and that's beneficial and that's going to increase your lifespan and all that stuff. They are doing that usually to get clicks on YouTube and affiliate commissions on the products that sponsor their videos. Maybe they got something, maybe they don't. I don't think it's worth screwing up your natural physiology to try to manipulate things at that level. That's my opinion. My opinion. Hope that answers that question. Marla. Hey Marla, good morning from Kansas. How you doing? And I see I didn't say Maria, I said Marla. So my memory is still working a little bit today. I think maybe a little more coffee might help that too. Well, good. I'm glad you guys I'm glad you guys have gotten inquisitive today. Thank you. Keep it up. Keep it up. Another question from Paul McGrogan. And he says, Mitch, I'm starting to question how much I eat in a day. What should I do to gauge amounts? Well, just like in the microbiome, there's a natural answer to that. And that is to always, you learn to recognize hunger and you learn to recognize satiety. It's not as simple as it sounds. It's not as simple as it sounds. Excuse me a second. I think I need to relight my cigar. I'm going to forget the music. Imagine the happy music. We'll fix that tomorrow. Reason my cell phones are all screwed up real quick is that the USB port in my Samsung S24 Ultra is not working, and I have to send it back to Samsung. So I took an old cell phone, and I've been spending half a day making sure that I get all my stuff from my cell phone, all my apps, all my everything transferred over to it. And I transferred it to the cell phone. That's my old Samsung. And it's the one I use for my music, so I had to grab an even older cell phone today to play the music, and it's just not working through the mixer as well as it should. So that's what been going through for hours, even this morning before the stream started, because I want to ship that cell phone off today so that they can repair it. And any of you who have spent the amount of time that I've spent setting up a cell phone because of all the things that we use it for, especially a YouTuber, you know how long that takes and how ridiculous it is to go through all those settings and permissions and everything over and over. And I dread the fact that when I send my old cell phone back, they're going to wipe it completely, and I'm going to have to start all over again when I get it. Back to the question, Paul. How much do you eat? Well, the natural answer to that question is, and it sounds so simple, eat when you're hungry, stop eating when you're satisfied. Recognizing those signs is where it gets tricky, because those signs, in order for them to work correctly, have to mean that you haven't done so much damage to your physiology, especially the receptors for certain hormones that are not only in your fat cells but in your brains, that you wouldn't recognize those signs if they smacked you in the face. A couple examples of what I'm talking about are insulin resistance, ghrelin, which is the hormone that triggers hunger, leptin triggers satiety, and of course, insulin resistance, which is the granddaddy of the cause of all of our problems. Ricky Lee sent me an email. He's talking about the Kinder. See? Thank you, Ricky. He went and looked at the ingredients, and he wrote in the email, he said, UGH. Yeah. You got to watch that stuff. All of that stuff is just isn't worth, it's not worth just the flavoring. And after a while on carnivore, you will just get to love salt. You don't need all that other stuff. You don't want it anymore. Our body works for us in the same ways it works against us. That's a key. So let me finish this subject I'm talking about, which is, how do you know how much to eat? You don't have to know. You don't have to calculate it. You don't have to figure it out. All you need to do is just make sure you're eating enough fat. And the consistency of your stools is a built-in indicator, built-in gauge that tells you that. But if you're metabolically screwed up because of all those years where you have insulin resistance, you have leptin resistance, and what that means is there's plenty of those hormones circulating. There's plenty of insulin circulating in the blood. The problem is that the receptors that recognize the presence of insulin on your cells, and for want of a better analogy, get numb to the overload and ignore the signals. So no matter how much sugar's in your blood, your cells think there's not enough sugar. If you have leptin resistance, and there's something you don't hear about a lot, but it is one of the major causes of overeating, of people never feeling satisfied. The receptors for leptin are in your brain. Leptin is produced by your fat cells. When your fat cells get full, they produce leptin. Hormones, and this is something that, it's a concept that you'd think everybody would know, but very few people think about it this way. Hormones serve one purpose in the body, and that is to signal a message to somewhere else in the body. It's incredibly elegant. Hormones are produced in certain places so that they can be read by receptors in other places. Leptin is produced in the fat cells, and when the fat cells start producing leptin, they start producing it because they're full of fat. They have enough fat stored in that cell, and that hormone is then sent out into the bloodstream. It goes everywhere in the body, but it's targeted primarily for the receptors in the brain that recognize it. It's a telegram. Hormones are messengers. They're telegrams. They communicate the state of one area, one organ, one cell. They communicate it to a specific receptor designed to read it at the other end. If that hormone has been way too high for way too long, those receptors stop reading the messages. It's like having a mailbox and never going out and checking your mail. You don't know what was in those messages because you never looked at the mailbox. Meanwhile, the mailbox is just getting crammed fuller and fuller and fuller of mail, but you have no idea what it is. You may be audited by the IRS and not know it. You don't know. Well, when the brain develops leptin resistance, it cannot recognize that the fat cells are screaming, "Stop already, stop already." That's what satiety is. When your leptin receptors are working perfectly in your brain, the minute it sees that hormone leptin, you stop eating naturally. That's how it happens in all the animals. You will stop eating. So there's two reasons why you may not be able to know how much food that you need to eat. If everything's working right and you don't have leptin resistance, and leptin balances with ghrelin, which is the hormone that triggers hunger. If all that's working great, then just follow your body's clues. If you feel hungry, eat. And keep eating until you feel satisfied. That's the reason that I decided for myself that I will not ever snack. I will only eat full meals, because that's the way we are supposed to do it. And that allows these hormones to work like they're supposed to, and everything normalizes, and you begin to actually recognize what real hunger is and separate it from the hunger that most people think they have, which is not hunger, but a craving for sugar, usually triggered by some emotion, stress, or habit. And don't discount the habits. How many people go to a movie and don't just automatically buy a 55-gallon drum of popcorn? It's a habit. How many people can sit down in front of their TV at night and watch a movie without the habit? There's no hunger. They just finished dinner, but they're heading for the snacks because it's a habit. So you have to watch out for things that are just a habit and things that are physiologically driven, like cravings, and learn to distinguish. But the key to all of this of knowing how much to eat is learning to recognize the natural signals you get from your body, when to start eating, when to stop eating, and learn to recognize true hunger. Sometimes people mistake thirst for hunger. Sometimes if you think you're hungry, but you don't know why you shouldn't be hungry, drink a big glass of water. Your hunger will go away. It's all about learning to recognize the signals that you're getting and not try to interfere or do anything other than what those signals are demanding that you do. Now, that's what I did. And I settled into about 2.5 pounds of food a day. I didn't start out by measuring it or anything. I just finally learned, over 2 years ago, I finally learned to recognize hunger and satiety. The habits went away, the habits of snacking, of eating a few bites of this and that between meals. That benefits your digestion. I learned when to stop eating, and if I ate my meal and the food in front of me, I did not feel that feeling of satiety. I ate more, and I do that. Not very often, but I do that because I might have needed more food at that particular time than I thought I did, or I usually do. It happens to me sometimes. I will go and eat more until I get that feeling of I can't eat another bite. And you'll eat enough food. And it's something we all have to discover on our own. And that's a long answer. I hope that answers that question for you, Paul. I hope it does. I'm basing all of that on just my own experience. And the way I live right now. I have not eaten since 4 o'clock yesterday afternoon. I am not even hungry yet. Not hungry. No thoughts of food. None whatsoever. I'll start to feel, based on my experience of the last 2 years, 11, 12 o'clock, I'll get that I could eat feeling. And even if I didn't eat, I'd be okay. I wouldn't be famished. I haven't been famished or felt starving for over 2 years. And that is the true miracle of how this lifestyle returns your body back to the physiology and chemistry that it has worked perfectly for millions of years without us having to consciously intervene in anything, just following our instincts, So that answers that question. Johnny Drone Flyer, hey, good morning, my friend. Good to see you. And Lori's got a question. Boy, you guys are on the ball this morning. Lori, question Mitch. Even you're one of those mornings you still come through with grace and charm. Thank you. I'm in a good mood. I'm happy this morning. Another nice day. Looking forward to the day. Not looking forward to dealing with these cell phone issues, but, shit happens. Shit happens. And when the USB port on your cell phone stops working, it becomes, I charge it with a wireless charger, but every time I have to connect something to it, I have a real problem. So I hate to send it back, but I have to. I have to. It was an expensive cell phone. And Mark Whistler, thanks everybody. Oh, how nice. Good morning, Mark. Good to see you. Good to see you. And who else we got here? I'm just going to keep going down the chat. I am over a half an hour behind, so I'm going to start doing this a little quickly. David Desanier, hey, in Louisiana, good morning. How y'all are down there? Good to see you. Josephine C. is here. A lot of people are coming in. We're up to 122 right now. Take a quick glance at Rumble. I see we have 17 people over in Rumble, and I think I already said hi to everybody that's over there. And Peter ate salad yesterday. CB chimed in. Salad is crunchy water with glyphosate. Yeah, that's about it. Not a lot of nutrition in there. Salad is I don't know. I guess it got its start because of the low calories of most of it. But then most people who say, "What'd you have for lunch?" I had a big salad. Yeah, well, they didn't mention the 1,000 calories of sugar dressing they poured on top of it and the big handful of croutons they mixed in with it, and raisins and all kinds of other stuff. But they feel like they're on a diet. They're doing healthy things because they're following everybody's advice, and they're killing themselves in the process. Susan Ivy, good morning to you. Thank you for the inspiration. I'm resetting today. Carb addiction is a bitch. It's not only a bitch, Susan, it's the bitch. I harp on it more than anybody I hear on YouTube anywhere. It's become, in my mind, if you took all the problems, all the reasons people overeat, all the reasons people are sick and metabolically ill, the reality of it is the main cause, a huge multiple times more than any other that might be in second place, is carbohydrate addiction. And yet in our society, it's not even considered anything real. It doesn't exist. You don't hear it talked about. Not in addiction treatment circles. It is the problem. I wish I had figured that out before I turned 75 years old. That was the reason. For an entire lifetime, I could not sustain weight loss or do anything about all of these disease conditions that I was getting, and blamed them on, well, I'm just getting older. I guess I'll have to live with that. It's all about carb addiction. I'll never be the biggest YouTuber because I harp on it so much. But I harp on it because in my opinion, it is the real root cause of all of it. All of it. And I know it's the root cause because it's the target of those that make money. If the big food companies didn't know for a fact that carb addiction was the root cause of why people can't stop eating their product, they would not spend the kind of money they do on the research that they do every day to continually make their foods more and more addictive. More and more addictive. They're following the tobacco company business model. Spend your research money hooking your customers more and more every day on the products you sell, and they will have to. They will not be able to control the urge to not buy your product when they walk by it in the supermarket. I'm not the only one on the planet that knows this. Those people in those industries, in the farm, in the drug industry, in the food industry, and big agriculture, they know that the key to making more and more money is get us more and more hooked on their product like sheep. And we're powerless to fight it until we finally recognize it, recognize the symptoms of it. And stop it. And the way to stop it is to keep stuffing yourself full of meat until the addiction stop working on you and not cheat. Like I said, that one cheat negates all the hard work you've done. It's not worth it. You'll reintroduce that into your subconscious and it'll say, oh, that stuff really, I thought I'd given up on that. I thought that wasn't around anymore. I'm just getting used to living without it. And here it is again. Yes, it's still here. Yes, here come the cravings again. And that's the vicious cycle we're all in. The vicious cycle we're all in. Sammy Shuford, good morning. This old man stayed clean. Congratulations. Good. Glad to hear it. And I need to scoot down the chat. I'm not going to make it all the way through today. God, it's almost 9:30. Where'd the time go? Boyd Lamb, now I got a Jones for big, I can't see what that is. A burger or something? He's got a emoji in there. I can't see what that emoji is. It's too small on here. Good morning, Boyd. Ugly Boy Smalls. There's an interesting name. Carnivore is saving my wife's life right now. That's great to hear. Stickman's Garage is here. Good morning to you. I'm still saying good morning to people, and it's almost time to go. Let's see what else we got anymore. I'm going to scoot down here real quick. If I miss saying hi to people I haven't said hi to you. Hi to you. Here's a question. What is this? Robbie Autry. Hi, Robbie. How you doing? Question. How do you feel about having jerky on standby when some craving hits you? I don't make jerky. I don't eat jerky. Jerky, unless you're going to eat enough of it to constitute a full meal, not unless you're going to eat enough of it to trigger satiety, you're snacking. I may be a hard ass when it comes to snacking. But I made rules for myself 2 years ago, and I have not deviated one iota from any of those rules in over 2 years, and it worked. I have no cravings. I don't want jerky. I never feel the need to put anything in my mouth other than a meal, a full meal. And once I start eating, I continue eating until I'm satisfied. I liken it to every other thing in the world that works with cycles. Your washing machine, your dishwasher. When you start a cycle, best to do it with a load in the washer or the dishwasher. Start it and don't stop it until it's completely done. Don't open it again halfway and throw more stuff in. You're just ruining the digestion of the stuff that you ate beforehand. Eat a meal, eat to satiety, and follow your natural instincts to eat again when you get hungry. And you will find if you do that consciously for a little while, it won't take long before you're now doing that unconsciously. And you wouldn't even think about wanting jerky. Now, there's nothing wrong with jerky, except the jerky that you buy is usually loaded with so much crap and chemicals and sugar that I wouldn't do that. But if you want to make your own beef jerky and have a meal of beef jerky, yeah, I would try to analyze and figure out why is it that I still feel the need to snack. So that's my opinion. You may make a meal of beef jerky, and Robbie, and if you like that and you're able to stay on carnivore and it doesn't trigger cravings or cause you to eat too much, do it. I none of these rules are hard, fast, and unbreakable, because we're all a little bit different. Here's another question. CB Carmack, did you Notice after a while eating carnivore, did you notice how your oral film went away? Also, you stopped stinking. I did. Absolutely true. Absolutely true. The microbiome in your mouth normalized, which is why, on another note, I never, ever use mouthwash or anything designed to kill bacteria. When you've got, and same thing on your skin. When you get the when you're healthy and eating only the right nutrients, the microbiome on your skin will normalize to that, and that microbiome on your skin will stop body odor, believe it or not. You can go a week without a shower, nobody will ever say you stink. Anything we put on our skin, antibacterial soap, hand sanitizer, all of that stuff only kills the beneficial symbiotic bacteria. I didn't make this up. I've heard Ken Berry talk about it many times. Many times. He doesn't use sunscreens, doesn't put chemicals on his skin. When he showers, just other than a few private areas, he doesn't use soap, shampoo, any of that stuff. Just kills beneficial bacteria. The unbeneficial bacteria, if you're healthy, will die out on their own, and you'll become a fragrant person with healthy teeth and everything else. It's so simple. It's so simple. Good question, CB. It's true. It's true. And what else we got here? We got going down the chat. I'm up to 9:15 now, so I'm catching up a little bit. We're over time, but that's okay. I got nowhere to go and all day to get there. Got 125 people here. Cool. And Steve Studley, thank you so much, Steve. A little super chat. Thank you for setting me free from thinking that I need to be concerned about my microbiome health. Like I said, that's my opinion, and it's contrary to so much of what you're going to hear. And even the carnivore people, they talk about microbiome. Everybody's always trying to find the magic bullet, the magic pill, the magic one thing that you absolutely need to do, and it'll make you live another 50 years longer. It's all nonsense. None of that stuff has ever been proven. There have been no studies that are long enough to know exactly how any of this stuff is really going to affect lifespan. And I admire Sean Baker for even admitting that. Anytime somebody talks about longevity, he comes out and says, I have no idea whether this is going to make me live longer or not. My thoughts are very simple. Obviously, if you're healthy and not doing damage to your biology, one would think, logically, that you would live longer. But even if I don't live longer, if I live the same length of time, I choose to live it healthy, not in pain, not taking 15 prescription drugs every day, not spending half my retired years, my older years, sitting in waiting rooms of doctor's offices, drugstores waiting for prescriptions, laboratories waiting for tests. I choose to feel good as I can feel right up to the end, whenever that end may be. And this dwelling on living forever means you're not living life. Sometimes I think you got to say, what are you saving it for God's sakes? Anyway, thank you, Steve, for the super chat. Appreciate it. Wayne has a question here. Wayne Herman says, are you always hungry when eating your 3 p.m. meal? The answer to that is no, but I could eat. And one of the reasons is by the time 3 p.m. or 4 p.m. comes around, I've pretty well completely digested what I'd eaten before. And probably by that time, my body is sending me signals that, well, you had a great meal, Mitch, and you were satisfied, but we still need a little more nutrition. So I get that feeling And I keep saying this, and it's exactly the best way to describe it. Somebody would say, Mitch, are you hungry? I say, I could eat. I could eat. And I do. And usually my second meal doesn't take as much food to trigger satiety as my first meal did. But when I get that satiety signal, I'm pretty well convinced that my body is telling me I've had enough food until tomorrow. And it's working. And it's working because I want for nothing. That's the thing that marvels me every day. I remember so well all those years of always having food on my mind. Food never crosses my mind now. Not until I get that hunger signal for the first meal. I never think about it. I don't even care. What am I going to eat? Anything. Anything would be great. Doesn't, I try to put a little variety in there, but yeah, you can't describe this. You have to experience it. And so many people never heard of this. They don't get the message. They don't know. And you can't describe it until you've experienced it. I've got enough history to know this is different. This is good. This is good. This is something different. Good question. Moto J wants to know, how long does it take you to stop stinking? Don't know. Everybody's different. Maybe you won't stop stinking, but you got to give it enough time to get yourself in perfect metabolic health, and then ask yourself, why do I still stink if you do? And maybe some people will always stink. That is absolutely an individual question. I can't even hazard a guess. Hey, Nelson's here. How you doing? Dr. Nelson's with us. I didn't see his entry, but I saw somebody say hello to him. How you doing, Nelson? Good to see you, my friend. And I'm flying down the chat, trying to get to the end here. Make sure I got all the questions, and then I'll be proud of myself. Lumpy Dog has a great point. Old tobacco owns most of the food industry. Of course, it was a natural purchase for them. They woke up at the board of directors meeting at the tobacco companies after the government went after them, and everybody went after them for killing so many people. And the amount of people they killed with cigarettes was nothing compared to the amount of people. And they always ran on the addiction model, and they were, I guarantee you, years before they had to, they got the heat about the tobacco years before, the people that controlled the tobacco companies always had kind of an eye on the food company. And they knew the food companies were running on the addictive model. They knew that. And they envied the food companies. And they would sit in there and say, damn, we're in the wrong business here. They're putting us out of business because we want to addict people younger and younger to our product. And they're putting us out of business because of it. But over there in the food companies, their main thrust is addicting young children to the sugar. And not only do they get away with it, but they get praised, and they call that healthy. The healthy breakfast cereals, the Cheerios, all that stuff. The baby formula full of sugar and seed oils. Nobody's telling them that they're harming people or killing people. They're addicting younger and younger people every year. And nobody's holding them accountable for any damage that they're doing. We need to be in that business. What are we doing still trying to make cigarettes? And the tobacco companies had more money than anybody because of the addiction model. It is the most profitable model of business on the planet. When your customers cannot stop buying your product, it doesn't get any better than that. And they said, we'll just buy up all the food companies. We'll send our top addiction scientists over to work for them. And the rest is history. Yes, Lumpy Dog. That is exactly how it happened and why. You and I and a small handful of people actually understand that. And It's incredible that it happened, and they're still getting away with it. They still keep inventing new flavors of Cheerios every day. Oh, God, yeah. Let's see. Any more questions? Any more questions? I'll go another couple of minutes here, and then we'll all get on with our day. I'm trying to read real fast, get to the bottom of the chat, looking for those QQQs. Oh, Catfish, how you doing? Thank you so much, Catfishes. Thank you for your fill in the blank, my friend. Well, you're very welcome, whatever you're thanking me for. Thank you so much, Cat. I appreciate that. Ketra says, yes, eating meat is the magic pill. There's no doubt about that. No doubt about that. But we need a lot of change to happen to the conventional wisdom. Conventional wisdom. And here's a latecomer, retired Rick from Illinois. How you doing, Rick? Good to see you. Glad you're here. And I'm still going. Here's Dr. Nelson. There you are. Saying hi to CB. Here's a question. Another one. Retired Rick asked the question. Regular butter in coffee or ghee? Either one is fine. Either one is fine. Butter has close to 0 carbs. Ghee is butter without any of the milk fats or milk sugars in it, but butter doesn't have much of that, so up to you. Up to you. It's going to have a little different taste, maybe. So whatever you prefer. None of that will help you. Still going. And I have hit rock bottom here. Great. The last one in is very appropriate. Steve Studley with a bunch of thumbs up. Thank you, Steve. Thank you so much. So with that, I'm going to try to, for this one purpose, get some music playing on my, yes, there it is. Okay, my friends. Okay, we'll have the music playing. Hopefully the microphone will pick it up. Charger Mopar says, all caught up. Yes, I did it again. How about that? Thanks, guys. Thanks for hanging in there with me. It's been fun. Went quick. So I'm going to fire up my cigar while you say goodbye to each other real quick. There you go. And have a great day. Have a great weekend. My friends. I will see you here tomorrow morning, 8:30. And look forward to it as usual. But until then, oh, I forgot to mention, I have a live stream at 3 o'clock this afternoon. I'm a glutton for this. 3 o'clock this afternoon, my Saturday afternoon live stream. Hope to see you there if you're not doing anything else. And until this afternoon, guys, take the rest of the day off and eat meat.